Hey guys, I've got some foggy double glazed windows here. This is one of them. It's out of a boat. I've got 10 of these to do. This one was the worst, so it was actually fogged up to the extent I could barely see outside it anymore, especially when the sun was on the glass. To get these remade would be huge money because this is marine tempered glass. They're the exact same, concept to your average home double glazing. There's no difference really, other than the type of glass. But so I'm going to attempt to repair this myself and re-double glaze the glass. So what happens when double glazing fails is the seal between the panes, which is here, that goes, and it causes air to leak in between the panes, and that's what causes the fogginess. So there's obviously moisture in the air, and when the sun gets on the glass it heats up and the moisture condenses, causing the foggy panes. So what I've got to do is cut these panes apart, clean off all the sealant, remove the old seal, then I will install a new seal, reseal around the glass, and I'm going to put desiccant inside the glass, which will help absorb any moisture that does get in there, especially during like the resealing process. So I'll be using modern products. These are about 10 years old, so the stuff that's on the market now is actually better than what there was available 10 years ago. So I'm going to cut these open now and get some measurements, see what I need, and hopefully get them fixed. So I'm just going to run my blade all the way along the seal, right around the whole window, down through here. That's between the glass, and that'll cut through the sealant and the seal, and I should be able to separate the panes at that point and then start cleaning all the old stuff off the glass to start again. So I've got the windows apart, separated. That only took about 2 minutes. Here is the seal, so you can sort of see what's going on here. You've got the actual seal between the double glazed units. This is the what creates the gap between the panes. It's 8mm thick, this one. And it has this foil tape inside it which helps create a airtight barrier so air doesn't get in. So you got that about 6mm in from the edge of the painted glass, and then on the outside to seal that you've got a bead of sort of a silicone sealant, and I figured out this stuff here is Dow Corning 795, which is an industrial strength specifically for glass. So I'm going to start cutting all this off the windows now. I know where I can source this stuff and the sealant, and then start going about reinstalling once the glass is all clean. So I'm just scraping this old seal off with a razor, and it's actually coming off reasonably easily. Just start running the razor along the length of the pane. So I think I'll get the worst of it off like this, and then probably the residue in the last parts, I think I'll have to get off probably with a bit of acetone or alcohol, something like that. I don't want to leave anything on there because it could compromise the new seal. Okay, so I finished cleaning the glass up. I used a bit of isopropyl alcohol on all the edges here to get rid of the sealant that was left, give you a nice clean surface. Did that on both sides. Now I'm about to start the reassembly process, but what I've done is move into a small bedroom, and I've had this dehumidifier running for about 12 hours now, and it looks like I've got the humidity down to about 10% in here. So that just means less moisture will be trapped between the panes for the desiccant to soak up. So here's what we're using. This is the new seal, and this will go between all my windows. I've got a 20 meter roll here. And this is actually, so it's basically double-sided foam tape with an aluminium strip in it, and this has actually got the desiccant infused in there, so that should soak up any moisture between the panes. So that'll go on. I've got a bottle of Rain-X here. Before I do anything, I'm going to anti-fog the glass on the insides, just as like a really precautionary backup measure. I have a bag of silica gel. This I'll put a spoonful between the panes, and that's really another backup just a little bit more desiccant should the window fail and the desiccant in here not be enough. And I was sealing it back together with this. This is the Dowell 795 for structural glazing. Really good glue. This is black. Apparently it's UV resistant and just sticks like anything to glass. The only thing is with this is it takes a long time to dry, so it's about 1mm per day. So I will end up with probably a bead of about 8mm here. So that would technically be about 8 days to dry. And I will leave it for probably a week because I don't want to risk trying to reinstall it and possibly even twisting the glass and breaking that seal. So you give it a good drying time. So right now I'm going to start by cleaning the glass, masking the edges to apply the Rain-X, and then I'll start reapplying the seal. Okay, so both windows are masked up now, just around the edges, and I have used the Rain-X on the glass, and the reason I masked it up is because I don't want any of this Rain-X getting where the seal is going to go. I don't know if I explained that earlier or not. That could just compromise the seal. But I'm going to take that masking tape off now, and I'm going to give the edge one last wipe down with isopropyl alcohol. And that's just to give it a last clean before I apply the actual seal. So the seal is on. As you can see here, it's hard to see with the reflection, but there's the foil side there. Foil side goes on the outside, and I've left about a 6 to 8 mil space between the edge of the glass and the seal, and that's where the sealant will go. So I'm about to apply the other pane of glass shortly. So that there is about a tablespoon of silica gel. It's desiccant. So I'm going to just put this in the window. Man, they're really bouncy. They won't be very visible because there's a black line around the edge of the window, and by the time the window's vertical they'll sort of sit within that. I mean, if you look for them you'll see them, but I think it's better to have it there and hope that it absorbs up any excess moisture. I can probably go with a bit more than that. I might put in another half tablespoon, and that's more than enough for the volume of air that's inside this window pane. Okay, I got the other pane of glass back on. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I had to, just getting them lined up, trying to get that straight edge between the two panes. So I ended up using sort of the window as a kind of a straight edge and pushing the glass against it, and then lowering the pane down on top of some spoons and then pulling the spoons out to try and get it straight. You only kind of get one shot because, like I've said, this seal in there is double-sided, sticky, so you can't really pull it back up. I got it okay. I may have put too many silica beads in. I don't know, I think they'll sort of sit flat. You can kind of see them inside there. But by the time the window's vertical, they should all sort of sit down, sort of on the base of the seal there. Okay, so now I'm going to just seal the gap up. So it's the use of this dowel, like I said, the Dowell 795, in here, all the way around the window, and that's what sort of creates the primary seal. All done. So I pumped it in, and it actually took a lot of sealant. I used almost a tube on this whole window. So I pumped it in, like excess sort of flows out, but you're better to have excess flowing out, and then I smoothed it off with this piece of plastic, just a paddle, smoothed it off like that, and then just took the excess off the edges. So I'll let this dry now. Like I said, it's 1mm per day. It would take about a week. But once it's dry, I'll just get a razor blade and go around and cut off any hanging edges and smooth it out a little bit. But otherwise, It's almost ready to go back in the boat.